Welcome to Stories of Kings, where truth hides in shadows and forgotten tales rise from silence. Today's story will challenge what you think you know. It's not just about secrets, it's about power, betrayal, and the man who defied them all. If you crave stories that others are too afraid to tell, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because here we uncover what history tried to erase.
Before the headlines, before the exile, there was just a quiet man behind a computer screen, staring into the heart of American surveillance. Edward Snowden was born in 1983 in North Carolina. A quiet child with a deep fascination for systems, especially the ones people don't see. He never finished college. But his raw skill in cybersecurity opened doors, first to the CIA, then to the NSA. Working deep inside America's intelligence systems, Snowden saw what few civilians ever would: total access to surveillance networks. He began asking questions. Who are we really watching? And why is no one talking about it? In secret, he started gathering documents. Thousands of files that showed the US government was watching everyone. In 2013, Snowden made contact with journalists in secret. He had one condition: tell the truth. All of it. He flew to Hong Kong. There, in a hotel room, he revealed his face and the weight of the truth. The world watched in shock as documents began to surface, exposing mass surveillance programs like PRISM and XKeyscore. The United States charged him with espionage. But Snowden had already disappeared, chased by his own country. In a single week, Snowden went from an anonymous analyst to the most wanted man on Earth. His passport was revoked mid-flight. Trapped in Moscow's airport, he became a man without a country. For 39 days, he lived in legal limbo, caught between nations, watched by intelligence services from every corner of the world. Russia granted him temporary asylum. The West called it betrayal. He called it survival. From a small Moscow apartment, Snowden began his life in exile, watched, protected, but never free. He gave speeches remotely, speaking to crowds through encrypted streams, his face pixelated, his message clear. His revelations sparked a global movement, demanding privacy, oversight, and digital rights. Laws changed. Tech giants were forced to defend their users. Encryption became a battle cry. But not everyone saw him as a hero. Inside Washington, he was branded a traitor. Years passed. Snowden remained in the shadows. A man trapped by truth, free in words, bound by borders, far from the headlines, but never free from the cost of his choices. The US continued its pursuit. They tightened policies, pressured allies, and labeled him a perpetual threat. In Russia, Snowden was both protected and watched, a guest with invisible chains. He applied for Russian citizenship, not for loyalty, but for permanence. Home had become a place that wouldn't take him back. Back in the US, debates raged. Was he a patriot or a criminal? Few agreed, but no one ignored him. Hollywood tried to tell his story, but no script could capture the weight of his silence. Snowden stayed offline, hidden in plain sight. His digital presence reduced to encrypted whispers. He wrote a book, a memoir called Permanent Record. A confession. A warning. A legacy. Through every chapter, one message echoed: the truth matters. Even if it costs everything. Edward Snowden remains a fugitive. But his story, his choice, forever altered the balance between power and the people. In exile, Snowden became a symbol, both feared and admired. A ghost in the system he once served. He watched the world shift, new surveillance programs, new whistleblowers, new battles for privacy. Though far away, he remained close to the heart of the digital rebellion he helped ignite. Governments evolved. Technology advanced. But his revelations remained the benchmark for digital dissent. He avoided fame, declined riches, and refused to return, unless guaranteed a fair trial. Occasionally, he emerged to speak about ethics, freedom, and the digital chains we wear. The world debated his pardon, but the risk of return still outweighed the hope of redemption. Time passed. The urgency faded. But the questions he raised never stopped echoing. New generations discovered him, not as a villain or a hero, but as a man who lit a fire. Edward Snowden's story is unfinished. A digital exile, a reluctant icon, a reminder that silence can be deadly, and truth even deadlier. Some called him a fugitive, others a freedom fighter. But Snowden never asked to be either. Each day in exile was quiet, but never peaceful. He lived between silence and surveillance. In private, he wondered if it was worth it, this sacrifice for strangers he'd never meet. But history isn't made by those who stay comfortable. It's written by those who risk. Governments still fear what he revealed, not just the facts, but the courage it took to speak. The internet he helped unmask became darker, more secretive, more hostile to truth. Snowden never returned to the US. Not because he couldn't, but because he no longer recognized it. He still speaks, when the world is ready to listen. Not loud, not often, but always with intent. Edward Snowden was just a man. But his choice became a mirror, reflecting a world we chose not to see. And maybe that's the real story, not of a traitor or a hero, but of the cost of knowing too much.